All right, so hi, I just wanted to do a little life update, if anybody cares. Cookie, can you keep still? I moved, I'm in a new apartment, and I want to tell you guys why. I feel like I've worked very hard in my career as an artist. I didn't do everything perfectly, but like dealing with ADHD and all those things, I feel like I've done the best I can. And one thing I know about myself is I've always worked hard as an artist. And I knew ever since I was a little girl, like I've always wanted to grow up and be an artist. I don't want to make this a really long video. I don't know if I have enough memory to finish it, but I'm gonna try. So I guess I just want to talk a little bit about my journey as an artist, my journey working in my passion, and kind of it like being fulfilled right before my eyes. Like I was saying before, I've never wanted to be anything except for an artist when I was a little girl, and I just knew like even if it didn't make me a whole lot of money, like there was no plan B. Like I was gonna be an artist. I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna be an artist. So now, like, I don't know, I'm 28, recently engaged. I don't even know if I've posted a separate video like on that. Maybe I will if y'all want it. Cookie. I'm trying to do a YouTube video. Gosh, let me try and start from the beginning. I've been going through a lot over the last couple of years, but I mean, I think everybody's been going through a lot over the last couple of years. But I feel like I'm not really great with my memory, but I feel like there's a scripture that talks about the joy that's gonna come is gonna like replace your pain. It's gonna be even more than the pain you experienced. I felt that joy come when my fiance proposed to me last February, and I feel it now because of what I have to share with you guys. Cookie, if you eat that, it's gonna hurt you. A few months ago, obviously I've been working as an artist, so since COVID, I've been working remotely as a graphic designer, and slowly, I decided to transition out of the marketing position at my job at the nonprofit I work for. And I was like, I really a lot of my outside business has been taking up more of my time. I think it needs more of my energy. And I really wanted to invest more time into like my art and my crafting businesses. And so like they're super supportive, and they were like, yeah, Alex, of course. Basically getting the process moving along, right? Another thing that I did was before transitioning out of marketing, I actually decided to cut down my hours to part-time from full-time. That was like the big thing actually before the transition. So earlier this year, I was like, actually, I want to move to part-time. These things are like taking up more of my time and energy, and I feel like I could do even more and do better if I dedicated more time to it. And even before that, last year, I was planning on purchasing a home. And so I was going through this housing process, this housing program called NACA. It's an amazing program. I was going through it because my credit is not good. And basically it helps people who may have faced challenges to home ownership to get home ownership, right? And so I saved up. Like they wanted you to have a certain amount in your savings account. I had gotten that. I had brought my credit score up. And this was last year, I think, probably like spring, summer last year. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna buy, because I moved back with my parents. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this house. And I know I'm all over the place, but it's really just getting me to here, getting me to this story. So okay, yeah, I'm back at my parents' house. I'm using this time to save up, and y'all let me know in the comments if this sunlighting is not working, but I just want to get this video out the way. But to save up and fix my credit and everything, right? And then, I don't know, like, there's this other artist I follow on Instagram, and they were talking about how they built their business by buying their own printer. And so like everything they did was in-house instead of outsourcing to a third party to get their printing done for their prints and their artwork. And I was like, I don't know. And I literally thought about it for 2 seconds before I decided to spend pretty much what I had saved up on a printer. And in that same moment decided not to participate in the NACA program anymore. Therefore, like, pushing back my plans to get my own home and putting my business in the foreground. I was like, you know what, if there's ever a time for me to invest in my business and myself, it's when I have the security of somewhere to live. So why not? And that's what I did. I've always wanted to have my own place before I got married. I wasn't engaged when I made that decision, but me and my current fiance, at the time boyfriend, we were like obviously serious about each other, and we were talking about marriage, and so I knew it was coming. But I never lived alone. I'd always had roommates, and well, a roommate, and I wanted to experience having my own place, right? So I basically put those desires to the side and those plans to the side to push forward my artist career. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start making all these sales. It's gonna pay for my printer like 10 times over. Granted, it did end up paying for itself. The printer did end up paying for itself, but I was not making as many sales as I thought I was gonna make, which is fine because I really super duper appreciate the people that I have, and also transitioning from a third party to like printing and fulfilling orders all on my own. That definitely has been a transition, trying to make sure I get everything out on time, trying to make sure I get everything to the customers. It's more hands-on, and I'm still working on it, but like, okay, that was another step in the direction towards like my goals as being an artist. I want my art to support me. I want to be an artist like full-time. I'm also a graphic designer. So like I want to do both of those things. I want to be able to be creative. I want to be able to be free and like just like have the freedom to have no inhibitions with my creativity. And that was like always my goal, right? So coming up to like earlier this year when I started transitioning from full-time to part-time, I was giving up health insurance. I was giving up, you know, the security of that paycheck twice a month, and, you know, a few other things that come with having a salary job or whatever, right? So there was that. And then just more recently transitioning from doing the marketing to just doing the graphic design. And like around that time, I was thinking about making that decision. You know, I've been exhibitioned in the Avery Research Center here in Charleston for a few months, which was an amazing opportunity, right? Like I had the main room in the building and over 30 something, you know, pieces of artwork in there, and I did sell a few pieces. I've had the opportunity to do so many things when I started like making room for my gift and making room for my creativity and art. And I just feel very blessed to have the opportunity to do that, like have the support and the space to do that, because I know everybody is not afforded that. So moving on to like what's going on right now. So basically the opportunity came up for me to be the graphic designer for one of the largest festivals like here in Charleston, the Charleston Wine and Food Festival. And they were like, hey Alex, we have this position open. I'd done some work for them earlier this year for their last festival. And they were like, if you're interested, just, you know, you can apply. And I was like, okay. Automatically imposter syndrome started setting in. I'm like, well, you know, like why would they choose me to do this? And there definitely is better graphic designers out there. And, you know, I just got my graphic design degree, so I'm pretty sure I'm not even qualified enough to do this job. Oh, by the way, ADHD journey video, I don't know if I did an update. I think the last update I did on it, I was like, I'm back in school. I'm on meds. I got diagnosed. They subbed out my class because I have a math learning disability. You know what? I don't think I did that video. Well, I graduated college finally, yay me. A couple months, last May, I graduated. So anyway, yeah, basically, long story short, I applied and I ended up getting chosen for the next round of interviews. And I was like, okay. You know, I was a little nervous because I saw, when I came there for my interview, I think I saw somebody else who was coming in next after me for the same position. I was like, well, do they look like a graphic designer? Like, do they look super designery? Do they look like they can design better than me? You know, all that stuff. But then, I feel like this video is getting super duper long and I don't want it to be. Okay. All right. Okay, where was I? I graduated, job, interview, second interview. Am I good? Long story short, I ended up getting the position. They offered it to me. They offered me the contract for a year. And I was like, me? Apparently, like, I stood out, which, you know, I didn't expect. And I was like, me? But yeah, it worked out well. And in the midst of that whole process, you know, because that took, I think, a couple of weeks, one day a friend sent me the application for an artist residency. And like, the crazy thing is, like, I've been looking up artist residencies like for the last couple months, like looking up stuff, like seeing things in New York, seeing things overseas, not being sure I wanted to travel overseas, and be away from like my friends and family for that long. And the crazy thing is, like, before I got the position with, you know, as the designer, and I still have a contract with the nonprofit doing graphic design. And before I got this application for the residency, I was having a conversation with my fiance, like, I work hard, like, at this artist thing, you know, I work hard at it. I've never stopped working hard. And, you know, I'm always like going after it, right? What is the next thing? Like, I felt like I was at a place like, what's the next thing? You know, like, when is something gonna happen? And while we were having that conversation, like, I was telling him, like, I've been praying about that, like, okay, God, what's next? What am I gonna do next? Like, what's next? You know, I work hard. I've been making space for this, for making space for my art, making space for my gift. Like, what's next? Where is it? I could barely turn my head quick enough before, like, this opportunity came up with the festival and this application for the residency, right? So my friend sent it to me. He said, I think you'd be great for this. And I was like, okay. I opened it up. And first thing I wanted to do was make sure it was real. Second thing, I saw that it was the last day to submit. I woke up and saw it that same morning, was that it was the last day to submit. And I was like, it's the last day to submit for this. Basically, the residency offers cost-free living. That's an apartment, that's Wi-Fi, electric, water taken care of. It's completely cost-free. And an art studio. And basically, my residency also includes me teaching. I'm the artist in residence for the community. Or, you know, the residency is the artist in residence for the community that, like, it's taking place in. So the artist gets all of those things, and in return, they have open studio hours. They teach classes to the residents once a week. But other than that, like, they're given the freedom to be an artist, right? I read that, and it was like qualities and skills that we're looking for. You know, got to be a self-starter, has to be somebody who is connected to the community, somebody who is comfortable teaching people. And I'm just like reading the list of things that they're looking for, and that list sounds like a description of me. And I'm not gonna cry. But after I finished reading that description and like the application, I immediately started crying. Like I did. I immediately started crying, and I can't explain it, but like deep down in my heart, I knew it was mine. Like deep down in my heart, I knew it was for me. I knew if I applied, I would get it. And that's not me being cocky at all. Like, I feel like it was the answer to a prayer. Like, yep, this is it. This is the next thing. And when I tell you, like, I feel like this thing was built for me, like, this next thing is for me. And I started to cry because I was like, oh gosh, that means I'm gonna move out. And that means this, and that means this. And it was a difficult decision for me to like, okay, I'm moving out of my parents' house. Obviously I stayed at my parents' house longer than I expected to. We've been going through a lot lately, so like that was my apprehension. Like, do I want to leave like my family right now while we're going through all of this? And so first thing I called my mom, even though she was downstairs. I called my mom and I sent it to her and I was like, Mommy, what do you think? And she said, I think you should apply. And I said, would you be like, okay if I moved out? And she was like, I'm gonna be fine. This is like, she was like, this is for you. Like this looks like it was made for you. So the rest of the day I took my time. Actually, I think I filled out the application right then and there and I sent it in, and then I waited and waited and waited and waited. And I got an email response, I think a few days or at least a week or so later. And this is also around the time like I'm waiting to find out if I am, accepted for the position as the graphic designer. And I get an email from them and they basically were like, we're blown away by your artwork. We would love to have a second, like, we want to move you along to the list of finalists. And I was like, oh my God. And then when we finally had our, the second interview, it was with the people who are the head of the program, the person who's over the apartment complex. It went really well. And they liked all the different things I had to offer. My jewelry business, where I'm handcrafting jewelry, I'm handcrafting coasters. I already teach paint classes. I already do this and I already do that. And they really liked a lot of that stuff about me. And one thing that I've struggled a lot with as an artist and a person who just can't keep still is keeping still. Like, I've always heard, like you always hear, you got to focus on one thing, you got to focus on one thing. And that's something I always struggle with, because I'm like, God, okay, I'm doing all these different things. Is it possible that I'm not doing them as good as I can if I focused on one? And it's just like, no, I don't. Like, all the different things that I do is it's a strength. The fact that I have so many different things is a strength, not a weakness. It's not like a lack of being focused. And I feel like that's what all of this is showing me. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I have a lot of work to do in, just staying organized and keeping on top of things. But like, I don't want to focus too much on my weaknesses. I know there are things I need to work on. Long story short, man, after the virtual interview for the residency, the apartment complex, what is it, director? What do they call them? The lead agent? She runs the place, man. She was like, well, if you ever want to come by and look at it, have you ever been here? I was like, honestly, I've been stalking the website and your social media for like since I applied. And I have been, like, every day. And the crazy thing is, from the moment I applied, every day I was looking at that website. Every day I was looking at the different apartments they offered. I was looking at the clubhouse to see what room are they gonna turn into the art studio. And then I started imagining, like, okay, well, how would I decorate? I just started an Amazon cart. Like, I had an Amazon cart started before I even heard back from them, with the couch and everything that I wanted. And so like, I was like, I know all the apartment styles y'all got. I already looked at that map of your clubhouse. I already figured out which room y'all are gonna turn into an art studio. And I was right. The room I thought they were gonna turn into an art studio is the one that they are renovating. And I already told her that. Basically, when I went to go visit, she was like, yeah, come visit. So me and my mom went by to visit. And this was just like, I think a few days after the second, the second round, like the interview, right? Cookie, I know you're not on my couch. I go in and I meet, her name's Dana. I go in there, I meet with her. She's introducing me to everybody, all the leasing agents in the office and show me around. And I'm just like, I mean, why would you be doing all of this if, y'all don't know who it is yet? So anyway, she was just talking to me and mom, right? And then she goes, by the way, we chose you. And I was like, excuse me? She was like, by the way, we chose you. And I was like, what? And like, I feel like my heart fell through the floor into my feet, and my mom immediately started crying. And I just started cheering, and like I was happy, and I was like, really, me? And like everybody like it was so cute. Everybody in the leasing office was really happy, and like they're excited for me to be there. Everyone's just really excited, and I walked around like with new eyes, like this space that I wanted, it's mine and it's for me. Like, even though I knew all along, I was like, I'm gonna get it. To hear that outside of my head, I was like, so anyway, here I am in an apartment I'm not paying for. Like, this is a part of my residency. I get to teach art classes to a community of people. I get to connect with them. I want to create a space where they can unwind from their day and their busy work week, and like they can just have some peace when they come and see me. I have time to create art. With my work schedule, with like the 2 design contracts that I have with the nonprofit and with the festival, it's worked out. So like, okay, I'm working during this part of the week, and on Fridays I work for myself and my businesses. We're probably gonna do like the community classes on Thursday nights for the residency. Like, I'm doing 3 different jobs basically, but it's not like 3 jobs like I was working in college, or actually 4 jobs, I'm doing 3 things like that I love, like, and I'm just very thankful. I'm very grateful. If I don't end this video soon, I'm gonna cry. A couple of years ago, my youth leader, like after Sunday school, came up to me and he was like, your gift's gonna make room for you. And I was like, all right. He was like, no, your gift is gonna make room for you. And I know everybody does not get to experience doing the thing that they love every day, and I'm so grateful that I do get to experience that. It's my hope that everybody does get to do something that fulfills them every day, but like, I know like that's like a luxury, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that that's the place I'm at right now. Like, everything is not perfect, but I could never have imagined that I'd be here. I'd be here in my own place, and I can decorate it in the way that I like. I have flexibility to be working from home, and I go in, a few times a week, and then my other office is like across the parking lot in the leasing building, where my art studio, like I get an art studio and it's beautiful. My next video, if you guys want it, I can do an apartment tour, and I can show you guys how I've decorated my space. Also, I post like little snippets of it on Instagram and TikTok, and I can also give you guys a tour of my art studio once everything is set up. But we are starting the classes for the community in October, and I'm just so happy. and excited that I get to do this. Like, I get to be an artist. Okay. Thank you guys for watching my video. I wanted to share it with you guys. I want to share it with you to encourage, you know, if there's something that you have a dream to do, like, don't let your dreams die. If you have a passion for something, keep at it, keep working at it. I'm here to say, like, your gift is really gonna make room for you. I've always believed I was born to do art. I was born to be an artist, and I'm in places where I get to do that. Gosh, I'm crying. So I hope you're encouraged to not give up. If you're going through something, I hope you're encouraged to know that things do get better.